D is all about sine rule, and the sine rule is much easier than the cosine rule. You can write it either where sine is on the top or sine is on the bottom. These are the same equation. I typically use this one. It's just habit from the past. But the way that we've come up with these formulas, if we start with the area formula, this is how we find the area of a non-right triangle, whether we know A or B or angle C. And if we divide by 1/2 ABC, this is where the formula comes from. So we derive all formulas in math from previous formulas. So since we know this is true, and I used an algebraic statement to find this equation, that's how I know this is true. It's all just algebra manipulation. Okay, so in order, first of all, if you have a non-right triangle, this is when we use either the sine rule or the cosine rule. Now, the key for using a sine rule, we have to have a side and a corresponding angle. We have to have an angle and a side across from it in order to even use this. So when we start with this, I always put the side 12 over my angle sine of 39. It's called the sine rule because I only use sine, equals little b, because little b is the same thing as AC, over sine of 58. You can look at this a couple of ways. We have two equal ratios, which is a proportion. We can cross multiply, or we're just going to multiply both sides by sine of 58 to get b by itself. So either way, I'm going to show you the cross multiply. B times sine of 39 equals 12 times sine of 58. Then divide both sides by sine of 39. And if you plug 12 times sine of 58, now if you're using my graphing calculator, you might want to use the fraction bar. Remember, that's the alpha, the green button, alpha y equals, and then you just hit enter for n over d. Then you can put all this in the numerator and all that in the denominator. And you should, now keep in mind they tell us they want 2 decimal places. So I get 16 and 17 hundredths. This is a side length, so it is centimeters. But if you just plug this in directly to your calculator, there's always a parenthesis that pops up after sine. So you have to end this parenthesis before you divide by sine of 39. So just keep messing with your calculator. Make sure that you're able to get the correct answer. All right, this one's all about finding angles. So we're doing the same thing. Notice we can use law of sines because I have a corresponding angle and side length. So 20 over sine of my angle 37 equals, we're looking for angle ABC. So I'm going to put, notice C is across from 15 over sine of C. I'm just going to cross multiply 20 times sine of C equals 15 times sine of 37. I need to get sine C by itself, so divide both sides by 20. Now you can either find this value here, or you can take sine inverse of both sides in order to find what angle C is. So you can either find the answer here, and then in your next step, do sine inverse, and then go up and use your up arrow and grab this answer to pull it down. Or you can just plug this whole thing into your calculator. And this one wants 3 sig figs. So that's 26.8 degrees. Okay. Now, one little thing, we can see that 15 is less than 20. That means angle C should be less than angle B. Since angle B is 37, it makes sense that angle C is 26.8. So sometimes making sure that your answer makes sense is helpful. But like I said on the last one, kind of mess with your calculator until you're comfortable with the method to get the correct answer.